This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Habit to science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake.
Okay guys, welcome back to another Portal 64 update video. Huge shout out to FuzzPixels and Todd Barriage for letting me use their cover of Still Alive. If you're a little upset that I cut off the song early, you should definitely check out the entire song on his channel, link in the description below. I have a lot of progress I'm excited to share with you today. First, the most important thing, I fixed the colors in the HUD in the middle of the screen. Don't know how I got those wrong in the first place, but it's fixed. Now on to less important updates. I also completely redid the contact generation system on my physics engine. So contact generation is the process of finding where objects overlap and then the direction you need to push on these objects to separate them back out. And my initial approach was to just write a unique function for every pair of object types that I had in my physics engine. And this function would find the contacts if the two objects were overlapping, but it didn't scale very well, meaning, so I had a cube collision type for the cube, and I had rectangles for the walls. And in my last update, that was basically all there was. There is a sphere type as well, but that one was only implemented to collide against the walls, and so I couldn't collide sphere against cube. And I actually didn't even implement cube to cube collision yet. I could only collide cube to wall. So if I had another cube in the scene, they just pass through the other cube. And so I wanted to add a new type, a cylinder type, for the button, and I got to work on getting this cylinder collider to collide with the wall, and I got it partially done, and then I started trying to work on getting the cylinder type to collide with the cube, and this was just getting unmanageable. I hadn't even done cube to cube yet, and I was thinking this was just going to be a lot of work to get all these different types to collide together. But that's when I discovered GJK and EPA. GJK and EPA are magical. You write complicated collision code once, and then after you finish that, adding a new collision type only requires you to implement a single function that is fairly simple to implement. And the function works like this. You give it a direction you want it to search in, and you need to return the point that's on that shape that is the furthest in that direction. And that's it. That's the only thing I need to implement to add new shapes. This only works on convex types, but I was working with that restriction anyway. And even though I had to start my contact generation system over from scratch, I still saved a bunch of time by going with this new approach over what I was trying to do before. This did come with some downsides. First, my new approach ended up being a bit slower on the CPU. But I don't think this will be that big of a deal for the final game. And if it is, I can come back and optimize it later. Right now the game runs smoothly with the new contact generation system, so I'm not too worried about this in the future. The bigger problem is that GJK and EPA can only generate one contact at a time. And my approach before could generate a contact for every corner that intersected the face simultaneously if it landed flat. But I can't do that now. So how do you get around that? Well, you just remember the contacts that you generate, and every frame you add one. So the first frame a collision is detected, you generate one contact, and that'll push up that one corner, causing the opposite corner to then go into the face. On the next frame, that corner that is now in the face will generate a new contact, pushing that one up. Repeat this until you have enough contacts to have the object sit stably on the surface. And it works. You can generate stable contacts this way, but it does take a few frames. So there might be a little bit of weirdness when collisions start, but eventually that weirdness should level out and you get okay physics simulations, and it works for what I need. But now that I have cylinder colliders, I can implement the button. And with the button, doors that open when you push the button. This let me build out a lot of the first test chamber. There's still a lot of little details that I can work on, but go ahead and take a look at what I have so far.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment Center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper. Before we start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all Enrichment Center activities, serious injuries may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from
Por favor,
donde fallan. Muchas gracias. Turn back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
A few things to note from this footage. First, I have 3D sound working. It's very basic. It only controls the volume as you move further away from the source of the sound, and it only pans from left to right. There's no other fancy effects to make it sound like it has some depth to it, but that's good enough for my needs. And one big thing that you don't see is doorway culling. So every object in the scene is assigned to a room, and so the game only draws the room that you're currently in. Unless you are looking at a door into another room, and then it knows, oh, you see the door, draw that room as well. But if the door's closed, it can also skip drawing that room. What's great about this is the engine, I've already shown it can handle single rooms, so long as I can break the large levels up into a bunch of small rooms, it should continue to run smoothly, even as the size of the levels grow. Some of you are asking if I plan on making the whole game. The answer is I would like to. This is a really big project. I don't know if I'll get there, but that's the goal. But my current goal right now is just to get the first test chamber done in a way that feels like it could be part of the finished game. And then once I've reached that, I'll do the same thing for implementing the content of Portal First Slice, which is just a free demo of Portal you can get on Steam. After that, I am worried that Valve might not be too happy if I'm releasing this content for free on GitHub. And there's not really anything I can do to make sure Valve doesn't shut this down. If they don't want this project to exist, it's their IP, they can just tell me no. So I just need to give them every reason not to shut it down and maybe reasons to keep it alive, which is why eventually I do plan on releasing the updated ROMs as a mod for Portal on Steam. And the idea is that in order to get the ROM, you have to first legally own Portal on Steam. I don't know when I'll transition to this model, but it will eventually happen if this project ends up being finished. In the meantime, I will continue to link the latest version in the description of the video. There were also a lot of comments asking about how to get into Nintendo 64 development. And the best I can do in the scope of this video for now is just put a link in the description to a Discord channel and a few other resources where you can get started. If there is a lot of interest in some more details on how to make a Nintendo 64 game, let me know in the comments, and I can make that video sometime. And that's everything for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm really excited about this project. I'm going to keep going on it, and I'll talk to you all later.
Look at me.